This is the Business Maker Show, heard here and seen online at thebusinessmakers.com. And now with me I have Chris Clements, founder and CEO of YeeZ Mobile. Chris, welcome to the Business Maker Show.
Thanks, Russ. It's good to be here.
You bet. Well, tell us about YeeZ Mobile.
Well, YeeZ Mobile is a text message marketing platform that we built for small to medium-sized companies. Basically what we do is we allow companies to communicate with their clients, their prospects, and their employees. Okay. Any stakeholder that they may have.
Okay, now I noticed you mentioned kind of a small, medium-sized company, and what's going through my mind is some of these big company text messaging applications are extremely expensive. How can you build one that works for a small, medium-sized company?
Well, basically what we've done is we've taken all the different tools and actually added on to them that are available for the large companies, Coca-Cola and American Idol and those sort of things.
Right.
And we've basically scaled down the text messaging part, and we use what's called a long code for most of our clients instead of a short code.
Okay.
A long code's much more inexpensive than a short code is, and basically we've brought the cost way down.
Okay. Now, when you talk about a short code, you're talking about some of those things that we see, like on American Idol, where it's a 5-digit text number that you text to,
right.
and you're not doing that. You're using a long code. And are you saying that a long code, you can do it more inexpensively?
Well, to have a short code, something like 313131,
right.
which is a short code that we use with some of our clients.
Right.
We've got those capabilities,
right.
but that's not our sweet spot. Something like that costs several $1,000s a month just to have it.
Oh, okay.
So that's not affordable for Joe's Pizza Shack.
Okay.
Or
okay.
the bar down the street or something like that.
Okay.
So what we've done is we've actually gotten 10-digit numbers.
Right.
978-242-5800, for example, is one that we use in our company.
Okay.
And so basically you text a keyword into that number just like you would 313131.
Right.
And the same interaction happens.
Okay.
The cost is just probably less than 10% of what it would cost to do it through a short code.
Now, what did you mean when you say you text in a keyword?
You could text radio to 978-242-5800.
Okay.
Just to give an example
right.
here, to get more information about YeeZ Mobile.
Okay.
And that would basically automatically send back a response
okay.
to your cell phone via
okay.
text message.
Okay.
So now communication starts happening between the company and its prospects or its clients.
Okay. Now, since we have a pretty big audience here, if they did text that number and say radio, do you have that wired up? Right
yes, that's set up
okay.
so they
all
can find out
right.
more information about us.
All right, that's cool. Well, go ahead and say the number again and how they do this.
All they have to do is, from their cell phone,
right.
text the word radio
right.
to the number 978-242-5800.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. If your secret of really being able to do this and do it for a small, medium-sized business by using a long code, can just anybody do that then?
Well, basically, there's a lot of compliance and stuff that needs to happen.
Okay.
So people try to do that from their cell phone.
Right.
But text messaging is a purely opt-in, opt-out, permission-based
right.
marketing
right.
system. So you have to have the ability for somebody to opt in via a keyword,
okay.
get a response back that gives them how many times a week to expect messages from you,
okay.
the cost of the messages, all that sort of stuff. So basically just kind of your disclosure. And they also have to be able to text in the word stop or end
okay.
to get off your list automatically.
Okay.
So that way they're not receiving unwanted messages.
And what this sort of regulates, it means that a person with just their regular text number can't send out mass volumes without doing that. Is that correct?
They can't do it legally.
Okay, can't do it. They could do it, but they couldn't do it legally.
There are lots of lawsuits right now of companies that have tried to do that without
okay.
permission
okay.
from because you can get a list of all the cell phone numbers in the country.
Right.
But if you send a text message to them, you're spamming.
Okay.
And you're looking at big fines and lawsuits.
Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's imagine that here on the Business Maker Show, we decide we're a small business, and we decided we wanted to do some of this cool texting marketing. First thing we'd do, we'd come to you and tell us how that process would work and what we would get. And do you bring me a bunch of numbers, or how do I get the numbers from all my listeners?
Right, and that's a great question. That's
right.
one of the questions that everybody that I talk
right.
to asks. How do I get the list in the first place?
Right.
Because I can't buy it.
Right.
Well, what we do is we focus on different ways of interacting with your listeners, for
okay.
example, So we may help you run a contest.
Okay.
We worked with Ford and the Houston Texans, and we gave away a truck for them.
Okay.
And so people in the stadium would text in, Ford to the number. They'd be entered into a contest where they could have a chance to win a Ford truck. You could do the same sort of thing on your show.
And that's a key part of a successful texting program, right? Is building your database.
Building your database.
Okay.
You've got to figure out a way to incentivize somebody to get on your list in the first place.
Okay.
Discounts. Coupons. Are a great way of doing it.
And YeeZ is you have expertise in that category, and if somebody really wanted to implement a program, that might be step one. You would say, well, do you have a list? If they say no, you would say, well, why don't you try one of these types of things? We found them to work.
Well, depending on the industry, we've got examples of what has worked in the past. And so what we'll do is show them how to run that same kind of campaign within their company. For pizza companies, for example, running text message coupons, taking their paper coupons and doing a text message coupon with that has been a huge success.
Okay. All right. So if I did one and I send it out, these people would respond back in, but then immediately they would have this opportunity to opt out of future text messages from me, right?
Absolutely.
Is there kind of a standard of how much people tend to opt out in those programs, or does it vary?
It varies across the board, and that's another question. How often should I send a text message out? Well, the question is, what are the people on your list expecting?
Right.
If they're expecting the daily lottery results and you don't send it, they're going to be upset.
Right.
But if you send them, if they expect once a week update from you and you send them 5 text messages in a week, they're going to be upset also.
Okay. So you convince me that I need to do this contest. I get a database of, let's say I get 5,000 people. Pretty big database. So then are you equipping me or with software or something on my computer that broadcasts these? I mean, obviously I'm not going to sit at my...
Right.
All right, how does that work?
Everything's hosted on the web. So all you do is sign into our website, and you can send a text message. Put your text message in one time, send it out to one or many of your lists. You've got the ability to have separate lists. So you can kind of segment your market and target your audience. Okay,
could I send a message out to 50,000 people using my long code text deal through you?
You could do it. But the thing is, if you've only got 5,000, you can't send it out to 50,000 people.
Right.
But there's a couple stipulations on long codes, and one is that you've got the ability to only send or receive 500 text messages per hour, and that's a lot for most small to medium sized companies. Right. But some of our larger clients like Rice University and the Texans and Ford, what we use is a short code with them. And so you can use the same capabilities if you're going to have a large volume of people texting in all at one time. You're going to want to use the short code because then you can send and receive thousands of messages per minute. But the cost is going to be a lot more. Okay, but I could also use a long code and just sort of time it out over a 4 or 5 hour period, right? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's why we say segment your list and send your message out to a portion of your list and target them very specifically. Okay. So if you had a list for different advertisers or different segments of the show, you could then target those lists very well. Now, Chris, texting just seems to be taking over the world. I mean, maybe it's just my world, but I thought it was just my kids for a while, and then now all of a sudden it's my friends too. Is that just happening right now, bigger than ever? Well, it is definitely taking off. Text messaging has been around for a few years now. The United States is a little bit behind the rest of the world as far as adoption of that. But the great thing is for businesses is that it's not a cluttered medium right now. For example, email. I mean, email, if you're sending out an email, you're lucky to get 10, maybe 20% of the people that you send an email to, a marketing email, to actually open the email. The great thing about text messaging is that 97% of all text messages are open and read. So if you send a text message to one of your clients, you're pretty much going to get your message in front of them. So that's one of the things that just really excites me about this stuff. Well, I mean, and it's almost like a phone call, and there's this obligation when you receive one that you think you have to look at it. Plus, it's going to be
kind of short too, right? What's the limit on a text message?
You've got about 160 characters per text message.
So you know you're not going to open up this novel and have to kind of read it and stuff. So that's pretty darn cool. All right, so let's move forward. So you've been doing this how long now? How old is the company?
We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary.
All right. I would assume and hope that in that period of time you might have a success story or two in there, do you?
We definitely have a few.
All right. Well, share one with us.
Well, one that comes to mind is I mentioned a pizza restaurant earlier.
Right.
And what they did was we took all the coupons that they were putting out there. Pretty much everybody buys pizza with some sort of discount or coupon.
Right.
Well, all the coupons they were putting out, instead of having people bring in the coupons, in order to activate the coupons, they put a keyword in the coupon.
In order to activate it.
In order to activate it. So, to get a $9.99 pizza, text pizza to their number, and then the actual coupon comes on their phone with an expiration date and the actual coupon.
Right.
But the great thing is, one, that person gets added to their database.
Right.
So now they can market to them again. Right. And two, it keeps them from using the same coupon over and over.
Oh, yeah.
Because the second time somebody tries to use that same coupon, it sends back an alternative message saying, sorry, you've already received this promotion.
Wow.
So what it's done is it has allowed them to give better specials and build that list very fast.
Wow.
And, another great statistic about text message marketing is, a 20% response rate to a promotion.
Whoa.
Is not unheard of.
Oh, wow.
We've actually gotten them probably 30, 35% before. But once you build a list of 1,000, 2,000 people and send out a text message promotion, it can actually fill a restaurant.
Wow.
It can really sell product.
Wow, that is impressive. So give us another example. I mean, I love this because it's so obvious that it has impact.
Another example is a restaurant that has a bar in it that we work with.
All right.
They had been building a list for several months. One of their distributors or one of their suppliers came in with some Steelers tickets. This is up in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And gave them some Steelers tickets. They decided to give them away.
Right.
They sent out a text message that morning to about 800 people. It was a portion of their list.
Right.
22% of those people or thereabouts came into their establishment that night to win.
Because they had a shot at Steelers tickets.
People really like their Steelers.
Right, absolutely.
They came in for the promotion. The sign up was between 8 and 11, and the giveaway was at midnight. And between 8 and 11, they were having a happy hour. Between 11 and 12, it was normal prices, but they had to stick around in order to see if they won the tickets.
Right.
And they did several thousand.
Night, at the bar.
They did several $1,000s more that night.
Real cool.
With that promotion, and that's one that they just thought of that morning.
Real cool. All right. So before we let you go, let's say you got somebody watching that's real interested. What's your website address?
It's YeeZ.com. It's YeeZ.com.
Okay.
And our phone number's on the site, and you can give us a call.
And then go ahead and tell them this text thing that you got lined up.
Okay. And if you want to find out more about a promotion that we'll do for your show, text the word radio into 978-242-5800.
Okay.
So just go to your cell phone, text the word radio to 978-242-5800, and we'll do it special for just those listeners of your show.
All right. Chris, thanks a whole lot for sharing your story with us.
Thanks a lot, Russ. I appreciate you having me on.
You bet. That's Chris Clements, the founder and CEO of YeeZ Mobile. And you're listening to The Business Maker Show, heard here and seen online at thebusinessmakers.com.